Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program Agenda. We are broadcasting live here from Barrio Capitolio in Pasig. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us this morning, March 16, 2023. It's a Thursday, and I ask for your indulgence kung sakaling mabulol po tayo in the program because I literally arrived at 2:30 in the morning from the province of Isabela. Okay? So, galing po tayo ng Isabela where we I was a volunteer teacher for hog racing, backyard hog racing. But the reason I am mentioning that is because today we will be touching on the subject matter because hindi pinag-uusapan, hindi masyadong pinapansin, but we have a national crisis in the hog industry because of ASF and because of what many say is the failure of the current administration of the Department of Agriculture to do anything or do something about the problem. Meron naman daw tinetesting na bakuna. We will discuss all of that later. But in the meantime, allow me to thank all of the subscribers of Cignal TV and viewers of One News on channels 8 and 250. And we really appreciate that you support Cignal TV. We really appreciate that you watch Agenda. Even those who, and also those who chase after us, try to catch us on Facebook and on YouTube. Maraming salamat po for keeping up with Agenda and with yours truly. And let's carry on with today's Daily Starter. And it comes from the famous TV host, events host, and celebrity comedian Steve Harvey. And he says, change your speech from I got to go to I get to go. Many of us, when we are talking about life, we say, hindi pare, kailangan ko magtrabaho, kailangan kong ihatid yung mga anak ko, I got to go to work, I have to go to the office, I have to take my children, or I have to take my wife somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And Steve Harvey, pointed it out quite well when he said, you have to change your speech or yung pananalita ninyo from I've got to I get to. Because many people don't get the chance to take their children to school. Many people don't get to say I get to go to work. Okay? So, maraming tao walang trabaho. There are people who can't be with their families because they have to work abroad or do things. You should change your attitude and your speech by saying, I get to. Meron akong pagkakataon. I have the privilege. I get to go to work. I get to bring my wife. I get to be with my children. Okay. And let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star for a quick review. Halos hindi gumagalaw. It's like a typhoon that has remained in position because the headline is still about Congressman Arnie Teves, two sons face illegal firearms raps. Okay. Lawmaker files for 2-month leave. Charges of illegal possession of firearms were filed by the police yesterday against Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnulfo Teves Jr. and his two sons, Kurt Matthew and Axel, in connection with 3 murder cases in the province in 2019. While murder complaints were filed earlier by the Philippine National Police against Teves and 5 others over the 2019 killings, these new charges received by the DOJ pertains to firearms suspected to have been used in crimes and recently seized by the CIDG. According to the police and to Secretary Remulla, the complainant in the illegal firearms charges will be none other than the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. So yan po, it's still about the Teves, Congressman Teves and the murders and illegal weapons. At the top of the front page, the Philippines appeals ICC resumption of drug war probe. So again, the Philippine government has requested the International Criminal Court not to continue with the drug war probe or investigations because we are doing our own version of investigations. Below that is a photo of two police officers, Police Senior Master Sergeant Jerwin Rebosora and Master Sergeant Lawrence Catarata. Okay, there at the top of the front page. Ninja cops, informants declaring only 30% of drug hauls. Okay. Police Senior Master Sergeant Jerwin Rebosora and Master Sergeant Lawrence Catarata attend the hearing of the Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs yesterday. They were cited in contempt after they were seen on the surveillance footage pilfering 42 kilos from 996 kilos of shabu. Okay, and according to the senators, doon nagde-deny pa yung mga ninja cops, yung pala kasama sila sa bilihan at bentahan. Meanwhile, Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri is puzzled or nagtataka why is the House of Representatives rushing to amend the Constitution when it is not even a priority of the President nor of the Senate, since new laws are already in place to address key legal obstacles to foreign investments. Okay, meanwhile, Philippine Coast Guard probes sunken oil tankers permit. Okay, the Philippine Coast Guard has found some irregularities in the franchise granted by the Marina to the sunken MT Princess Empress. Coast Guard spokesman Rear Admiral Arman Balilo said that the PCG has been instructed to investigate the Certificate of Public Convenience or CPC granted by Marina to the said MT Princess Empress. The weather authorities, in the meantime, Pag-asa has declared that the weather phenomenon La Nina is officially over. Hindi na po tayo masyadong maapektahan ng lamig at ulan at pagdating naman ang El Nino. So, with La Nina leaving, we will be expecting less rains, less cool weather, but the El Nino phenomenon is connected with higher temperatures, droughts, and water shortages. So please find all the ways you can reduce heating in your homes, in your offices, consumption of electricity, water, etc. And connected to the forthcoming barangay Sangguniang Kabataan elections, 2 barangay chiefs were killed as BSK polls near. Commission on Elections, COMELEC Chairman George Garcia yesterday expressed fear over the killing of 2 village officials in the past 2 days, a few months before the conduct of the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections in October. October pa ang eleksyon pero ngayon patayan na. para bawasan ang mga kalaban sa eleksyon. Iyan ang nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Below that, a story, a photo, local tourists view century-old images of saints at the Basilica Minore del Santo Niño de Cebu City yesterday. Visita Iglesia, or the tradition of visiting 7 churches during Holy Week, is popular among Catholic devotees. So that is also a reminder that Holy Week is coming and that the government has declared the longest holiday of 2023, which is the Holy Week, and I think it is a Day of Valor, if I am not mistaken. It will be a 5-day week holiday, I believe. Last but not the least, broadening of Coast Guard mandate eyed. Senator Joseph Victor J.B. Ejercito said the mandate of the Philippine Coast Guard, PCG, a purely civilian organization, might be worth looking into to match the Chinese Coast Guard, which is allowed to engage in combat. Kumbaga, bigyan natin ng konting muscle at pamalo yung ating Coast Guard. Yan na po. So that's the front page of the Philippine Star today, March 16, 2023. Good morning to the people na nakasabay ko kahapon diyan po sa Benito Soliven, town of Benito Soliven in Isabela, and of course to all the people who joined the BMEG Fiestahan. Okay, let's now go to our discussion for the day. Gabriel, dire-diretso na ba ang biyahe natin? Okay, let's roll out our introduction for our Suki. When it comes to agriculture, very outspoken, very authoritative, and parang kuminsan siya na lang yata yung nagsasalita para sa mga magbababoy sa Pilipinas. Let's roll out the Betamax, please.
Engineer Rosendo So is the president of the Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura, or SINAG. He is also the chairman of Abono Party List.
Okay, Chairman Rosendo So, welcome to the program.
Yeah, Manong Cito, magandang umaga sa lahat.
Okay, first let's get started. Alam mo, kakabalik ko pa lang from Isabela na kasama na saling pusa ako ng mga tiga BMEG para magturo regarding backyard hog racing. And yesterday, napansin ko, ang dami naming dun along the highway, slow down yung bus na sinasakyan ko kasi sumakay ako ng Victory pa balik sa Manila eh. And sabi ko, bakit ganito? Why is this bus always slowing down on every so many kilometers? Nung sumilip na ako and I started observing, ang dami kong nakikita quarantine checkpoint for ASF. Practically every town or major city has this quarantine for ASF or ASF checkpoint, etc. And then the other day, I think it was Monday, I read about you in the inside page of the Philippine Star na you were complaining why the Bureau of Animal Industry was not excited or happy about the 10-hectare property being donated by the private sector for this first border facility against ASF and diseases. Ano ba nangyayari?
Yeah, nagtataka nga tayo eh. No? So, ito is i-ano lang natin yung background. No? 2019, nagbigay si President Duterte ng 1 billion for the first border. So, walang nangyari. No? Walang nangyari. Itong umupo si President BBM, nagkaroon kami ng meeting and pinopose natin ito na yung private sector na lang ang maghanap ng lupa Kasi yung dati kasi hindi nakahanap daw ng lupa ang ating government. No? So ito is sinabi natin, okay, may lugar tayong 10 hectares facility, ang private sector na magko-construct and ito is yung inspection area is private sector na mag-construct din. 1 hectare cold storage sa area na i-inspect ng Bureau of Customs tsaka itong Bureau of Animal Industry. No? And BPI and BFAR. So, ibig sabihin, lahat na produkto na papasok, dadaan dun sa facility. So, ang presidente naman, ang sa amin ng presidente, okay, kailangan ng laboratory yan, di ba? So, kami ang mag-invest ng laboratory para at least ma-check yung mga pumapasok. In which, pumasa sa Kongreso, Senate and Congress, yung budget ng facility. Itong facility dati, malaki sanang gastos eh. Ngayon, dahil yung lugar, wala ng rental, ipapagamit dun sa government ng 25 years, renewable another 25 years para at least wala na silang rason na sasabihin, ay wala kaming area for laboratory.
Kasi pag dinonate kasi, ibinigay na malamang at malamang mabenta o ma-privatize na naman.
Yeah. So ang inano natin is, ito, lugar para at least wala na kayong problema. No? And yung Kongreso nag-budget na doon para at least yung may ibang pondo mapunta sa tao na lang, no? Sa mga for testing, at least makaumpisa tayo. No? So, yun. Wala na silang, dati kasi naghahanap pa sila ng lugar. Magre-rent pa sila, mag-ano pa sila. So, ngayon,
saan lugar yan, Chairman?
Bali, Cito sa Bulacan, no? Kasi yun ang malaking area na nakita natin na in which yung Port of Subic, yung Port of Manila, mas mabilis na isang area na lang lahat. In which 84% kasi ng, almost 85% ng karga na pumapasok dito come from Metro Manila. Yung 10% galing Subic and yung 5% galing Southern Batangas area. So, pwede naman na lahat na lang, dito na lang sa Metro Manila tsaka sa Subic ang imobak para at least isang area na lang ang inspection.
Okay, pasensya ka na, no? Medyo patanong-tanong ako kasi there are things, maski ako hindi ko kabisado. Yung mga imported, all these imported meats, poultry, hog, beef, plant byproducts, etc., how do they come into the Philippines and through which port, yung bulk niyan? Di ba, is it by boat, mostly refrigerated van via South Harbor, or kalat-kalat ba?
Yeah, yung North and South Harbor composed of mga 84% ang pumapasok. So yung mga, sabihin natin 5% Subic, no? And yung remaining, yun ang South Batangas area. So yung bulk nasa itong Port of Manila.
Kayo smuggled?
Kasi within Metro Manila na ganung kalaking area, no?
Okay, pero Chairman, yung smuggled, saan pumapasok yon? Port of Manila rin ba yun? Kasi may mga nagsasabi sa akin, yung iba sa probinsya, Cebu, Zamboanga, etc.
Yeah. Bali, yung proposal natin, tatlong area dapat, no? Port of, dito sa Luzon, isa, Visaya, isa, and Mindanao, isa. Na in which, inapprovean na ng Kongreso yung budget for the laboratory.
Okay.
So, wala na tayong problema sa laboratory. And last month, tinanong natin sa Senate hearing, sa DBM, kung naibigay na yung budget sa DA. Sabi nila, naibigay na. So, ibig sabihin, anytime, DA construct, no? Yung itong laboratory na ito. Ang purpose natin, sa ngayon kasi, Manong Cito, yung dumadating na kargamento, pagdating dito sa ating bansa, open, close, labas na. Wala tayong testing. So, ibig sabihin, kung contaminated ito ng ASF, contaminated ng bird flu, sa corn, yung army worm or other product, linalabas na lang yan. Wala tayong hindi natin sinusuri. No? And kung makita mo dun sa mga hearing, sa batas, dapat may first border tayo before yung second border. No? Ngayon, ang ginagawa nila, diretso sa consignee, yung consignee naman, hindi nila mamomonitor na kasi ang dami ng consignee. Di ba?
Correct.
So, ang nangyayari talaga is hindi natin sinusuri yung dumadaan.
Former president supported and funded. Congress agrees and supported and funded the construction of a facility. The private sector donated 10 hectares kamo.
Yung laboratory is around mga 4,000 square meter.
4,000 square meter for the laboratory, a 1 hectare cold storage facility, and siyempre, kailangan yata yung 10 hectares dahil maraming sasakyan, may traffic at may mga parallel mga offices yan for documentation, inspection like Bureau of Customs, BAI, Bureau of Plant Industry, etc. So, kumbaga, everybody willing. Sino ang not acting? BAI ba o Department of Agriculture as a whole?
I think ang Bureau of Animal Industry ang pinoproblema kasi yung Zoom meeting namin, pumayag na yung Bureau of Plant Industry, pumayag na yung BIFAR, no? Yung sa custom, wala na rin masyadong problema kasi pumayag na din yung dating commissioner. May bago ngayon. So siguro sa tingin natin hindi naman magkakaproblema. No? Yung Bureau, last administration, ang nagkaproblema is yung Bureau of Animal Industry.
Okay.
Hindi pumayag. Hindi namin alam bakit. No? This time naman, yung last na umupo na BAI, mukhang okay na sa kanya kasi nag-meeting. And na siya, mukhang gusto na pero napalitan ng problema.
You're talking about Dr. Morales.
Yeah, oo.
Oo.
Last time kasi hindi nag-agree si Dr. Morales pero this administration nag-agree na siya. Nagkaroon ng meeting and gagalaw na pero in which ang nangyari, napalitan. So, back to square one na naman yan. So, yun ang problema natin. Is dapat mag-umpisa na ito kasi 3 months time na. And kung hindi ito ma-construct, baka ma-delay na naman yan, di ba? So,
okay, pero just so that our viewers understand, Chairman Rosendo, no? Chairman So, kasi ako alam ko kung bakit mahalaga yan, pero many people don't understand the purpose of a first border facility. At ano ba yung situation in the Philippines which pressures the industry, hog raisers, poultry, etc. to push for this first border facility?
Yeah, sa other countries kasi, like China, pag dumating yung kargamento, sinecheck nila yung mga produkto. Kagaya yung banana natin, di ba? Rini-reject dahil may bacteria, gano'n. So, kung makita mo dun sa mga news, yung mga contaminated na salmon, di ba? Rini-reject din nila. Pero dito sa atin, wala tayong gano'n. Ibig sabihin, dumadating yung mga produkto, maski reject, hindi natin malalaman kasi ito is hindi na sinusuri yung produkto. Ibig sabihin, kung ito ba contaminated with salmonella para sa kung yung taong kumain may problema, di ba? Kung contaminated ba ito ng sakit, like ASF, contaminated ba ito ng bird flu, hindi natin na sinusuri ito. Yun ang malaking problema.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, para makarelate yung iba sa inyo dyan, kung kayo ay mga po-parents, yung mga mahilig sa mga aso, kanya necessary na ngayong magbakuna for parvo para sa mga tuta at sa mga aso, even for pigs. What's happened is because many decades or several decades ago, siguro 2-3 decades ago, hindi tayo nag-i-screen for parvo. As Chairman Rosendo So pointed out, we never had the system, we never had the policy, and so all of these kinds of diseases for dogs, such as parvo, distemper, etc., sa baboy, sa manok, maraming na-import na mga manok, hindi lang po pansabong, pati po pang poultry, layer, free-range, at kung hindi na check ang pinanggalingan at quality, ayan, nagkalat na po sa Pilipinas ang sakit. So para sa amin sa poultry and game fowl, kami bago matutong tumilaok yung manok from sisiu, eh 7 bakuna ang natitikman ng manok. Okay, so ayun ang problema. Anyway, continue, Chairman So.
Yes, kaya kailangan talaga natin yung restriction, yung pagpasok. Kasi kung makikita natin yung ASF, kaano kahigpit yung mga borders natin, local borders, pumapasok pa rin. Kasi yung frozen meat, pag pumasok yan, ilagay lang sa bus, hindi naman ma-inspect ng isa-isa yan, di ba? Mm-hmm. So, yun ang malaking problema. No? Kung yung mga sasakyan, kunyari, is private na pickup or van. Kung linagay dun sa loob yung frozen, wala na. Tayo, sine-check natin is yung live, anong dala, pero siyempre kung ang daming sasakyan, kung mapansin nyo, papuntang Isabela, hindi naman sine-check yung mga private na sasakyan. No? Ito is kung magdala ng kontaminado na produkto, nag-i-spread dun sa mga area. So kaya magugulat tayo, hindi naman tinamaan dati yung Ilocos Sur, pero tinamaan yung Ilocos Norte. Kaya si Senator Amy nagko-complain, yung mga frozen nag-spread dito sa Ilocos Norte, na in which sa tingin natin, totoo naman. Kasi yung unang case na nangyari, kaya dumating yung ASF dahil dun sa swill feeding na galing frozen meat na yung concessionaire dinala sa Rizal, pinakain sa mga baboy, di ba? Yung mga remaining ng mga resto and other food chain, yun ang dinala sa Rizal. Kaya nag-spread ASF.
Yun po mga kaibigan, yung sinasabi natin, do not use kanin baboy because there were big pig farms in Rizal who were hoping to save money. They bought kaning baboy or yung mga leftover feeds, food from aircrafts and ships, and use that as an additive to their feeding. Ayun, imbis na nakatipid, na disgrasya buong Pilipinas. Hindi lang po yung farms nila, buong Pilipinas. Now, Chairman Rosendo So, where are we in the situation? Because in the same article that I read about your complaint or your frustration with the BAI reportedly issued documents or data that 15 out of 17 regions in the Philippines now have active cases of ASF. So, kung 15 out of 17 lumalabas, Metro Manila lang ang walang ASF dahil wala namang babuyan dito, and BARM or Bangsa Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao dahil hindi naman sila kumakain ng baboy, ayaw nila merong mga hog farms. But 15 out of 17, nasulat ko tuloy, our dying hog industry. What is the situation?
Yeah, sa ngayon, no, kung nakikita natin yung mga itong ASF, mayroon pa rin. No? Pero sa ngayon, at least yung Region 1, for example, nakiklear na yung area. Pero dapat very strict yung protocol. Yun ang malaking problema natin. Pero nakakalusot pa rin. No? Kaya umabot ng Ilocos Norte. Etong Luzon, medyo mag-umpisa na sana mag-recover. Ngayon, tinamaan naman yung Bisaya, in which ang baboy natin may percentage na mga 15 to 20% na galing dun sa area na dumadating dito. Kaya yung protocol talagang nagbabantayan ulit lahat, no? Very strict ulit lahat para at least hindi makapasok. Yun ang situation natin ngayon. We hope hindi mag-spread itong new outbreak dun sa Bisaya na papunta na naman dito sa Luzon.
But the situation is such that they're saying 15 out of 17. Ano ba ito? Alarmist report ba ito? Or kasi data ng BAI daw yan eh. So I know that at the beginning of the ASF, Luzon lost more than half of its farms and then it even got worse. Yung sabi mo nga na-clear ng ASF maraming lugar kasi na-clear din pati yung mga hog farms na wala, pati yung mga farm.
Yeah. Oo, ang Luzon hindi lang 50%, umabot ng 70% ang nawala. No? Pero ngayon, nagre-rehabilitate, repop. We hope na magkakaroon ng repopulation. Pero ang pinoproblema pa rin natin kasi nakita natin yung strict ng farm, yung mga big farm na gusto bumalik. Nakakalusot pa rin yung ASF. No? So, yun ang tinitingnan natin. Baka sa feeds, yun ang isang tinitingnan din. Kasi yung mga feeds na pumapasok, na imported, hindi rin tinatest. Hindi kagaya locally produced natin na feeds na hindi dependent dun sa imported, no? Yung kasi may blood meal na imported.
Yun, no.
Pwede mag-contaminate. Na in which yung ibang feed miller naman, like Bimig, hindi gumagamit nun nung nag-usap kami, no? Pero yung iba, gumagamit dun for fish sector, yung mga fish sector, na in which natatakot talaga yung industry kasi yung kinunan, yung Italy is hindi ASF free. So yun ang talagang tinatakot natin, bakit inalaw yung etong Italy, no? Na in which sumulat din tayo sa Malacanang, and ang Malacanang telling Bureau of Animal Industry to explain bakit nila pinayagan yung Italy.
Napakakulit daw nung napakakulit daw kasi nung ambassador ng Italy. Nasulat ko na rin yang sa bagay, he's just doing his job. He has to promote, protect, and push for the interest of the sector he represents back in Italy. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the reality. What Chairman Rosendo So is pointing out, it's not just the live animal that is a carrier of the disease. It's not just the frozen meat or processed meat that can be the carriers of diseases. It can also come from feed mix, meaning dun po sa mga pagkain sa baboy, pagkain sa manok, etc. There are feed mills that import ingredients from all over the world to expand, extend, or improve the quality of their products. But some of them use bone meal or blood meal or yung mga pinagtatastasan ng mga karne, leftovers that are dried and processed and for protein. And these are added to the feeds. And what happens is that if the company is not as vigilant or strict, they could end up importing feed mixes that are carriers of disease. So yun po. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, let's continue our discussion with Chairman Rosendo So, and what are the next steps, because I know there is an available vaccine, but apparently the vaccine has its limitations and restrictions, and once I wrote about it, tumawag na kagad sa akin yung mga representante. Okay, we will be right back after this quick break. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and joining us this morning and continuing our discussion is Chairman Rosendo So of Cignal, the Alliance of Agriculture-Based Industries. Okay, so Chairman, pinag-uusapan natin kanina ASF, the failure or the extreme delay or difficulties you are facing with the Bureau of Animal Industry to get on board in putting up the first border facility. Ano ba yan? Is someone behind that intentional delay or problem? Kasi alam ko na every time your group pushes, the other group, which are the importers, they contradict or they counter.
Yeah, ito wala tayong nakitang importer counter kasi kung illegitimate ang pinapasok, no, mabilis naman ang labas eh. Ibig sabihin kung yung mga produkto na legit na pumapasok na in which yung testing will only take 2 hours time, makakalabas naman dun sa area. Ang i-check lang ito is yung mga may problema or yung mga company na sabihin natin illegally na papasok ngayon. Ito is ma-check natin ngayon dahil it will pass through this gate, no? Yung street ng mga produkto and yun ang medyo magkakaproblema. Pero yung mga legitimate na papasok, so yung mga importer na walang problema, mas mabilis na makakalabas. Na in which, hindi pa sila babayad ng parking fee sa loob ng custom. Dahil ito is nasa labas na ng facility and ang Bureau of Custom na nandun sa facility, hindi na magkaka-charge yan ng additional cost dahil nasa labas na ito ng Bureau of Custom.
Ayun. Okay, now, nung umiikot ako sa Isabela, yesterday and the other day, I learned from certain sources na this is supposed to be from BAI data. The volume of meats, particularly pork and poultry, that are imported and in cold storage are practically equivalent to the volume produced locally. And they're afraid that if this continues, it will further drive their farm gate prices down. Eh, nung umikot nga ako, total, sinag ka, Samahang ng Industriya sa Agrikultura, I drove when we passed by Nueva Vizcaya, for instance, hindi mo akalain na may shortage tayo sa onions a few months ago dahil kulay pula yung highway. Puro pulang sako at yung mga kasama ko natataranta. Kuya, it's only 50 pesos a kilo. Punuin natin yung pick up. Sabi ko, bahala kayo sa buhay nyo, mga timawa kayo. And then luya was 6 kilos for 100 pesos. And nataranta talaga sila. Grabe, ang dami. There's an oversupply. And ang layo ng 50 pesos per kilo from 700 pesos per kilo. And I remember the farmers were already saying, pag pinayagan niyang mga importation na yan na pumasok na natapat sa anihan, patay na kami. That evidently is the situation.
Yes, Manong Cito, bali, kaya pinalimit natin yung pagpasok dun sa January time. Sinabi natin na aani na yung magsasaka, maapektuhan yan. Pero at that time, nakinig naman ang Bureau of Plant Industry dun sa industry. So instead of inaprubahan yung 21,000 metric tons na ipapasok sana, na inapprove ng ating presidente, na ipasok lang is 3,800. So, in which nakita naman natin na hindi ganon ka-apektado ng ating local producers, no? Na kasi dati kung bumagsak yan ng 20 pesos, no? Yung time ng March last year. So this time yung 50 to 60 pesos, Manong Cito, kumikita naman yung farmers. Kasi
retail yun sa highway.
Yeah. Yung kasi, yung per kilo ng break-even na magsasaka ngayon, dahil 10 tons na yung pula, nakakaabot na sila ng 20 pesos ang puunan. Pag ibenta yan ng 45 to 50, kumikita na sila. And yung Nueva Ecija, minomonitor din natin, yung pulang sibuyas is nasa 55 to 60 ang farm gate, na in which kaya mabilis na ina-out na ng magsasaka yung produkto. At least 1 hectare, makaka-gross sila ng 600,000. Ang gastos is 200 to 250,000. May kita ang farmers na almost 250 to 300,000.
Which is good. Okay, now, bakit nakakaabot pa sako-sako ng bawang, ng garlic doon sa mga garlic planting areas na galing China? Kasi talagang, sabi siya, Chairman, hindi naman sa nagyayabang ako o hipokrito ako, pero talaga ang sama ng loob ko nung nakita ko na may sako ng doon sa isang tindahan, isang sako, dalawang sako ng bawang, tapos ang laki-laki na nakasulat product of China. Sabi ko para namang para naman tayo naglulukon at nagsasampalan dito. Bayan na ito na nagtatanim ng bawang, binabagsakan pa ng bawang galing China. Wala ba tayong magagawa na those products can only be sold in areas that are non-garlic growing areas? Kasi parang in our own backyard pa binabagsakan.
Yeah, parang Cito, bali, yung sa garlics, medyo sad news tayo dahil ang naiwan sa atin mga 4 to 5% ala ng total consumption. Ibig sabihin yung 95 to 96% inaangkat natin sa other countries. Yun ang malaking problema natin na pwedeng balikan ng DA yung pagtanim ng bawang. Yung panahon kasi ni Secretary Pro si Arcala, may initiative siya na magtanim ng bawang sa each region. Maski paano, nakaka-contribute ng additional yun sa Ilocos Norte. No? So, ang ginawa kasi ng DA dati is may mga seedling ng bawang dinistribute sa each province para at least magtanim. Siguro yun ang kailangan natin gawin para at least bumalik yung bawang natin. No? So far kasi talagang negative tayo sa bawang dahil almost 94 to 96% ang imported.
Wow, okay. So talagang yung palang naobserbahan ko is mirrors a serious problem. Bakit? Ganun ba kahirap palakihin yun? Hindi ba parang ano lang din yan? May mga kilala ko, pati sa Australia, sabi, Cito, hindi ko kayo maintindihan dyan sa Pilipinas eh. We plant garlic in our backyard and we are able to plant all our needs from the backyard. It's so easy to plant. Sabi ko, malay ko ba? Hindi ko pa nasubukan magtanim ng bawang eh.
Yeah, ang window kasi, ang harvest time is, ang tanim ng bawang is around November, December din, no? And ang harvest time is March, April. So yun ang window time na yung weather na pwedeng magtanim ng bawang is between November, December. Like itong sibuyas.
Cool season.
Yeah, may season talaga.
Cool, dry season, hindi wet season.
Oo.
Okay. Anyway, Kasendo, what are your current concerns? Kasi napansin ko medyo ang bilis ng takbo ng oras today. Alam ko meron ng vaccine na tinetesting in 4 if not 6 farms. The vaccine is developed by Vietnam and an American laboratory. Nag-collaboration sila. And according to one of my reactors to my column yesterday, the results came out yesterday, declared by the BAI that the results were good. Wala raw shedding or hindi raw nagkakaroon ng side effect or nagkakalat or nagtitrigger ng other adverse effects or ASF. So mukhang positibo. Pero ano bang feedback sa'yo? Kasi ang nagtatanong sa akin, puro backyard. Hindi yung mga farms. Ay sabi ko, nako po, wag na po na kayo muna umasa. Baka intayin nyo muna yung lahat ng farms sa Pilipinas bumili ng bumili para bumaba yung presyo.
Yes, we hope that positive itong testing. Siguro ang pwedeng gawin ng Bureau of Animal Industry, i-test ito doon sa outbreak dun sa Cebu, no? Kasi ayaw ng governor nila na ipakal yung mga nandun sa area, di ba? Yung 1 kilometer area. Since wala silang magawa doon sa calling, so ito siguro ang pwede natin ipatesta lang doon sa area na na para at least kung hindi mamatay yung mga baboy, at least may ginawa ang ating government. Siguro ito yung pinakamagandang chance kasi nag-aaway between local government and Bureau of Animal Industry, di ba? Yung kalig. So yung mga hindi magkakal, siguro ito ang magandang chance na ipasok. At least malaman natin kung ito is effective.
Kumbaga outside the 1 kilometer perimeter or 500 kasi alam ko 500 meters na lang yata magbakuna na sila ng magbakuna tapos observe whether or not the infections will go beyond the 500 to 1 kilometer perimeter.
Yes, oo. Para at least makita natin dito dahil deadlock ang nangyari. Ayaw ng pinahinto ng ni Governor Gwen yung pagkakali. So siguro itong pinakamagandang gawin na lang para at least yung mga backyard racer hindi mamatay yung mga baboy nila to.
Okay, well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, and our friends in Cebu, I know how you feel. I have been a victim of ASF. I lost 88 pigs during the Christmas week of 2019. And I will tell you from all the stories and testimonies I have heard from other racers, yung iba po, tinago yung kanilang mga baboy para hindi makal, hindi sila masona, but in the end, they all died. So, ang problema lang dyan, kasi may iba, papatayin yung baboy, ibebenta. At hindi sasabihin na may diferensya. Ang problema, yun ang one of the fastest way to spread ASF. In the meantime, I just hope the government and BAI and DA are now faster. In the meantime, makakabawi naman kasi kung reporter, pero hindi na rin yata nagko-compensate ang DA ngayon. Kailangan na naka-insure ka para makompensate ka pag tinamaan ka ng ASF, Chairman.
Yeah, yun ang problema kung walang compensation. Kasi hindi talaga isusurrender ng may-ari yan, no? Mm-hmm. Kung walang kapalit na bayad. Isa pa, kung yung kapalit na bayad, kagaya nung last time, umabot ng 6 na buwan, 1 taon, talagang iyak lahat, no? Yun ang problema. And nakita rin natin doon sa previous mga nangyari, yung binaon na lang, na in which yung binaon na area, magiging area na hindi pwedeng mag-alaga, no? Kaya malaking problema rin yun kung dineclare yung area as pambaon ng baboy. Mm-hmm. One sample lang sa munisipyo ng Mapandandake sa Pangasinan kasi doon binaon yung galing incursion, galing Bulacan, no? Yeah. It takes mga 3 years bago ma-clear yung protocol na pwede na mag-alaga doon sa area. Siguro kaya yung Cebu ganun din ang pinoproblema kung nagbaon sila doon sa isang lugar, i-report yan sa OIE, ang tagal na makiklear, no? Na in which hindi talaga pwedeng mag-alaga ulit doon sa lugar na yun.
Correct. Kasi mga kaibigan, I'm not exaggerating. I had to fumigate, I had to torch, I had to disinfect 3 times over a period of 6 months to make sure that we were ASF free. Not because we wanted to resume the operation, but because if you are ground zero and you are not cleared by the local vets, the local authorities and the national authority, your neighborhood, your barangay, and your municipality will not be cleared. You will be declared a red zone. So kami po, talagang pinagtiyagaan namin na maalis yung red zone label dun sa aking babuyan at awa ng Diyos, nakapagpalaki na kami ng sentinel pigs, etc. So, Kasendong, I have a minute left, but anyway, siguro let's talk privately and maglista tayo ng mga iba pang dapat ma-agenda kasi hindi talaga napapag-usapan ng maigi ang mga concerns sa agriculture, and many people don't understand why Philippine media, the journalists, the columnists, yun ngayon ang inaasinta. Kasi ayaw po naming mamatay ng gutom yung mga mahihirap. Okay, Kasendong, thank you very much for your time. Chairman Rosendo So of Sinag.
Thank you, Manong Cito, at magandang umaga.
Okay, God bless you, sir. Ingat po tayo. Okay, that's Rosendo So, President Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura, pero mas maganda yung title na chairman di ba? Anyway, okay, let's go to our blessing for this week from Proverbs 3 verses 21 to 26. My son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life for your soul and adornment for your neck. Then you will walk on your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. If you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden terror or the ruin of the wicked when it comes, for the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and please say a prayer for our agriculture industry, for our producers, because if they fall, we all starve. I'm Cito Beltran thanking you, asking you to please keep it here on One News.